Imagine a company with only 3 employees. No famous brand, no global headquarters, no billion-dollar advertising campaigns. Yet every single day, its software quietly influences millions of decisions. Invoices are generated, appointments are scheduled, payments are verified, contracts are signed. Entire businesses continue operating because one small application never stops working. Most people never see it. They cannot even name it. But if it disappeared tomorrow, thousands of companies would immediately notice. This is the strange reality of the modern economy. The most influential businesses are often the least visible because infrastructure rarely seeks attention. It seeks integration. The internet is no longer powered only by giant technology companies. It is increasingly supported by thousands of specialized systems, each solving one critical problem with extraordinary precision. The future of business may not belong to whoever builds the biggest company. It may belong to whoever quietly becomes impossible to replace.
Industrial businesses were designed around scale. Larger factories, larger offices, larger organizations. Digital businesses obey different mathematics. Scale no longer begins with size. It begins with precision. One narrowly defined problem, solved exceptionally well, often creates more value than solving dozens of problems poorly. This is the philosophy behind Micro-SaaS. Not building software for everyone, building indispensable software for someone. Most entrepreneurs begin by asking, what large market should I enter? System architects ask a different question. Which tiny bottleneck is quietly costing thousands of businesses millions of dollars each year? That question changes everything. The objective is no longer competing. It becomes integrating. Because once software becomes embedded inside a workflow, customers stop evaluating features. They begin depending on continuity.
Every economy contains friction. Every industry contains delay. Every workflow contains repetition. These imperfections appear insignificant until someone removes them. Imagine a warehouse. One barcode fails to scan. The delay lasts 3 seconds. 3 seconds, repeated 10 million times, becomes years of lost productivity. Micro-SaaS businesses rarely create new industries. They optimize existing ones. They eliminate waiting, reduce repetition, prevent mistakes, accelerate decisions. Most customers never calculate these savings. They simply notice that work feels easier. Behind every successful Micro-SaaS lies a simple observation. Small inefficiencies become enormous markets when repeated at global scale. Because systems do not multiply complexity, they multiply repetition. And wherever repetition exists, architecture creates opportunity.
People often judge software by what they can see. The interface, the logo, the design. Architects look somewhere else. They study what the software quietly connects. Every successful Micro-SaaS follows the same hidden architecture. The first layer is interface, the visible surface. Simple, clean, focused. Its purpose is not to impress. Its purpose is to reduce thinking. Every unnecessary click is unnecessary friction. The second layer is workflow. Software should never exist independently. It must become part of someone else's daily routine. The stronger the workflow integration, the weaker the customer's desire to replace it. The third layer is intelligence. The application begins recognizing patterns, detecting anomalies, suggesting actions, not replacing human judgment, strengthening it. The fourth layer is integration. This is where true leverage begins. A Micro-SaaS rarely creates information, it orchestrates information. Accounting systems, payment gateways, customer databases, communication platforms, artificial intelligence. The software quietly becomes the intersection where every system meets. The fifth layer is dependency. Many entrepreneurs fear dependency. Architects design responsibly for it, not by trapping customers, but by becoming genuinely indispensable. When removing the software creates more disruption than keeping it, the architecture has reached maturity. The product is no longer just software. It has become infrastructure.
Software rarely wins because it has more features. Features can be copied. Interfaces can be redesigned. Pricing can be undercut. Workflows are much harder to replace. Imagine changing the steering wheel inside a moving vehicle. Possible, but uncomfortable. Now imagine replacing the engine. The entire vehicle stops. The strongest Micro-SaaS businesses do not compete to become another dashboard. They compete to become the engine, not the destination, the pathway, not the headline, the infrastructure beneath it. This changes how value is created. Customers stop asking, "What can this software do?" They begin asking, "What happens if this software disappears?" That question reveals true market position. When the answer becomes, "Everything stops," the architecture has crossed an invisible threshold. It is no longer participating inside the workflow. It owns the workflow. And ownership of the workflow creates extraordinary resilience. Because companies replace tools, they protect infrastructure.
Most people imagine monopolies as enormous corporations, towering headquarters, famous brands, global dominance. Digital infrastructure tells a different story. Some of the strongest monopolies are almost invisible, not because they eliminate competition, because they eliminate replacement. A payment processor, a scheduling engine, a compliance platform, an authentication service. Each solves one problem, yet thousands of businesses quietly build their own operations on top of it. The software grows not by attracting attention, but by accumulating dependency. Every integration creates another connection. Every connection creates another switching cost. Every switching cost strengthens the architecture. Eventually, the business becomes remarkably difficult to displace, not because competitors lack innovation, but because ecosystems resist interruption. The company no longer sells software, it supports continuity. And continuity is one of the most valuable products any business can offer.
Most entrepreneurs pursue visibility. Architects pursue indispensability. Visibility attracts customers. Indispensability retains them. This distinction quietly determines which businesses survive decades and which disappear after trends change. Every industry eventually forgets who shouted the loudest, but it remembers the infrastructure that continued working. Because infrastructure creates confidence, confidence creates dependency, dependency creates continuity, and continuity creates compounding value. The remarkable characteristic of Micro-SaaS is not that it serves millions of users. Many never do. Its advantage is far more subtle. It becomes deeply embedded inside a narrow but essential workflow. The market may be small. The necessity is enormous. This changes the economics completely. Revenue is no longer driven by popularity. It is driven by permanence. The software becomes less like a product and more like electricity, rarely celebrated, constantly expected, quietly indispensable. That is why the strongest digital businesses often grow in silence, not because they lack ambition, but because the architecture has become more important than the brand itself. If you want to build digital infrastructure, stop searching for the biggest market. Begin searching for the most expensive repetition. Where do businesses lose time every single day? Where do employees repeat the same decision thousands of times? Where does information stop moving efficiently? Those questions reveal where infrastructure is missing. Do not attempt to solve everything. Solve one problem so completely that removing your solution becomes more painful than paying for it. That is how sustainable software businesses emerge, not through endless features, not through louder marketing, but through deeper integration. Because every unnecessary step eliminated returns time. Every repeated mistake prevented returns trust. Every workflow improved returns capital. The objective is never writing more code. It is designing a system that quietly improves someone else's system.
The future will not be built only by giant platforms. It will also be built by countless specialized systems, solving problems that most people never notice. Because history rewards those who become visible. Economies reward those who become indispensable. Every industry contains hidden bottlenecks. Every bottleneck contains hidden opportunity. Every opportunity awaits an architect willing to replace repetition with infrastructure. The next generation of wealth will not belong only to those who build bigger companies. It will belong to those who quietly build better systems. Because products create transactions, infrastructure creates ecosystems, and ecosystems are where enduring wealth compounds. This is Nexera, decoding systems, architecting wealth.